What's up and welcome back to this YouTube channel. It's your guy Igor here. Today's video is dedicated to is Canada worth it? Is it the country that is worth moving to? And this video is going to be very interesting for people who are born in Canada and for people who are planning to come to Canada, because you are trying to make up your mind and figure out if you actually want to live here. And here's my perspective on life in Canada, money, occupation, lifestyle. It's going to answer the majority of most popular questions that I get on my YouTube channel from my subscribers. So make sure you watch this video until the end and smash the like button if you like some serious stuff I'm going to be saying right now. People are asking me on the YouTube channel, how much money can I make as an engineer, electrical engineer, petroleum engineer? How much money do doctors make? How much do school teachers make? All those are really relevant questions, and I'm lucky that I can answer majority of them. But I'll tell you this, as a new immigrant in Canada, most likely you're going to do some other jobs. So if you are a senior manager back home coming to Canada, you can end up anywhere. You can end up in construction, you can become a taxi driver, you can become a laborer in a warehouse. It's embarrassing the jobs that people take here, regardless of their education and their background back home. So it can be really frustrating and overwhelming. Be prepared to start all over again. Knowing how much other occupations are making, what your occupation is making is good, but be prepared that I have master's degree in economics, I have global business management, and you know what? I'm working with people, I work with management, and I have managers. Majority of my managers that I worked so far in career here in Alberta, they don't even have university degrees. They're school dropouts who think that they know a lot, but they don't. But in reality, I'm telling you that this is just a reality. People don't value the education, unfortunately, from back home, from where I come from. So for them, it's like as if it's void, it doesn't exist. As if I didn't go to university for 6 years to get the master's degree, 5.5, 6 years basically. Yeah, they don't realize that, they cannot comprehend that, and it's strange. It's a strange feeling. Be prepared to start all over, and immigrants do get same kind of jobs. Majority of the times you have to get some education in Canada. If you look how much doctors are making, you're a doctor or a nurse back home, realize this, that you would have to pass some government exams here in Canada. So if you look at the job occupations, you're like, I'm a pediatrician in Canada, they're making $300,000 a year. I'm going to be filthy rich, I'm going to be a millionaire in no time, because that's how much doctors are making. But realize this, you cannot practice medicine until you pass the accreditation here, until you pass all the exams. So there is a big, long process to get it. Lawyers, same thing. Nurses, same thing. School teachers, you need a special certification to be a school teacher here too. It's not that easy. Lots of families fall apart after immigration because roles change. Let's say a common situation, people coming from Eastern Europe. You're a guy, let's say you're a guy, you're coming to Canada and you are a big famous business person, you are a big shot in your home country, your wife and kids listen to you, and you're kind of a head of the entire family, and you're in charge. You know, your wife, because you provide all the food, you provide everything, your wife always obeys what you say and this kind of things. Then you move to Canada. Guess what? All of a sudden things change around. In no time, your wife starts making more money than you, and you cannot find the same kind of job that you had back home. And women in Canada have way more rights than in majority of the world. And what I'm saying is that things change around. All of a sudden, she's the boss, and you are not. And it's really difficult to handle, to overcome this kind of things. Even if you have a huge education and you are all settled business person, you come to Canada, you cannot find a job, you end up becoming, let's say, a truck driver or a construction person, and your wife, who was not that bright back home, all of a sudden She realizes how much opportunities she has in Canada, and she's a smart person. So she goes, gets some education, does some courses, gets into a huge company, and she might be not showing much of the interest back home, but in Canada she takes advantage of the opportunities, and then she gets into a big company, she becomes a senior manager. And that's a common situation where men are like, women are making more money now and they take higher positions, and their roles in the family change, and it's very difficult to adjust for some people, especially if you live for so many years in your home country where it could be male dominated. There are lots of countries where the guy is the head of the family, right? So all I'm saying is things can change in Canada, and it can lead to a lot of fights, divorces, families falling apart. So you have to be really open-minded and be prepared that things can totally change around in a new country. It's like starting a new game on another level. If you can adjust and you can assimilate, you are not going to have much issues, and family is going to stay together. But if it's really difficult for you, then you might consider. It's even more difficult to handle this kind of situation because you don't really have relatives here. If you're an immigrant, you don't have friends here to consult on what you're doing. Luckily, Canadian companies are providing benefits, and some of them are providing counseling. But back home where you're coming from, you can talk to your parents. You can get some support. You can go and talk to someone, express yourself. In Canada, it can be difficult, especially if language is a barrier for you. So it's difficult to consult anyone. You're on your own, and you might have some issues that you need to resolve, and it can be really overwhelming. It's not easy. As you can see on my background, that's my house. But it's not easy to buy a house in Canada. In fact, lots of immigrant families are just renting. They're renting the houses, the apartments, the basements. It's difficult to buy your own property, especially if you're a new immigrant that doesn't have enough money to put the down payment, or you're living in an expensive region like Toronto or Vancouver, where the housing is extremely expensive. It's not easy to be able to afford your own house for your family, which means that to start this new life, if you don't have a lot of savings to put the down payment, it's not going to be just served to you on a platter. You would have to work really hard for it. People are also quite different in Canada. People are always making fun of Canadians for saying sorry, thank you, excuse me, and being really nice. People are smiling a lot. When they see you, they would smile. It's like an informal way of saying hello. In some cultures, it might be a little bit awkward. People don't really smile. You just walk around the streets, blank face, there's nothing to smile about, and you meet someone in Canada and someone is like smiling at you. Back home, someone comes to you and smiles at you. Either you're wearing something funny or something funny about you, or they know you, or they want something from you. Sometimes in Ukraine you'd get a reaction by smiling at someone. They'll say, hey, what you smiling at? What's up? What's the problem? Something like that. But in Canada, it's just an informal way of saying hello, so don't be thrown away. People are very apologetic, and it's in a way they're sorry, excuse me if they push you or something, but it's only in reality it's like, hey, sorry, like if someone bumps into someone. In America it's like, hey man, where you walking? In Canada it's like, oh, excuse me. But the funny thing about Canadians is that actually in the head, the person is walking right there, and then he's thinking, what a freaking moron. They are not going to say it to them, but they're like, oh, sorry, freaking moron. It's like that. That's kind of it's like a fake politeness in a way. Just to be nice. It's a kind of civilized behavior, right? They're not going to say it to you, but if you were behaving like a moron, they might say that to themselves, but they're not going to say it to your face. So that kind of can throw you away. You would think that people are very friendly, and they would let you into their houses and they would welcome you, but in reality they're just being nice. It doesn't mean they really like you, or they're going to invite you to their house, or they're your friends. they accept different cultures from your background, from back home, from the country you come. You can wear your national costumes. You can have your own culture in your back home and everything, and people are welcome in that. But you should not expect other people to follow your culture. If there is Ramadan, don't expect other people to fast. If you are wearing burqa, don't expect anyone else to wear a burqa. And to be honest with you, some people are really, there are some people who are not really acceptable to other. What I'm saying is, be a little bit open-minded. You're coming to a totally different culture from what you're used to. You might see totally different things. Be prepared be prepared that it's really everyone is equal here. You'll see gay parades, you will see special associations for ladies, you will see lots of support for those people in need, for people with disabilities, for seniors, for children. So don't be overwhelmed by this kind of things, because it might be totally different from what you are used to in your home country. And you're welcome to bring your own culture, but you're probably not going to be welcome if you're trying and implement your own culture onto somebody else who are totally not from your culture. And it might be really stressful if you are finding it difficult to adjust. So just keep it in mind. You're coming to a totally different country. It's totally different people. You can find your own community. Like if you're from Lebanon, Lebanese are everywhere. If you're from India, people from India are everywhere. Filipinos, everywhere. Latinos, everywhere. Like Ukrainians, everywhere. Same thing. I'm just saying, it's Jamaicans, same thing. You go to Scarborough, there's an entire street of Jamaicans there. That's cool, it's cool. It's a really beautiful, vibrant country. I love that. And lots of diversity. And I also love that. But all I'm saying is that you have to be ready to accept it. It's a different lifestyle. There's all 4 seasons. 4 seasons, I mean, see, I have leaves falling off right now, so it's almost beginning of the winter. The leaves are turning yellow and falling off the trees. This is fall. In some countries you go there's only summer season, and that's it. You don't get snow, you don't get spring, you don't have winter, you don't have fall. So all 4 seasons. So lifestyle is totally different. In winter, sometimes you just wish you don't want to get out of your house. It's so cold and you're sitting at home, and if you're used to your home country where you're coming out, in any time you want, to downtown, nightlife, a little bit less of a nightlife here too. The cities are way more spread, so it might be a smaller population of a city, but the city lengthwise is bigger because everyone has small houses like this one, not the tall buildings, apartments like we have in Europe, for example. So what I'm saying is, be prepared for a different kind of lifestyle. For example, in Alberta, people in winter go skiing, which is awesome, and I love it. And in lots of countries, you don't even know what skiing is, right? If you're coming from some countries where there is no winter. And it's actually kind of cool to have all the 4 seasons, personally for me, because in the summer you can go kayaking, you can go swimming, you can go hiking. There's mountains in Alberta, Rocky Mountains. It's just beautiful, magnificent. Banff, you know where Banff is? BANFF. It's cool. Like, it's really beautiful. But at the same time, more outdoor life, more homestaying people. Lots of people don't even go anywhere. Lots of people spend their whole time at home. So it might be slightly different from what you're used to back home. So it's also going to be different. The lifestyle, the people, the family, the occupations, the money, everything is different. Okay guys, I have to remind you, smash the like button and subscribe to this channel to see more. Now I'll tell you, is it actually worth moving to Canada? I'll tell you on my example. You see this house behind me? That's my home. That's the dream house, I would say. I always dreamt of having a house. Now I have a house, a backyard. It's amazing. I feel blessed. I couldn't even dream of such things back home, and I have it here just because I'm here. I also have an apartment that I'm renting out. I don't think I would be able to afford anything back home. I had a car that my parents purchased for me. It sounds embarrassing, but that's true, because they were working in Qatar and we saved up some money. But otherwise, there was no opportunities. I didn't have the connections to get into some bigger companies, and I didn't want to go into politics, and I didn't want to go and deal with all the corruption and all the mess that they had back home. I wanted a country with equal opportunities for everyone. But you know, there are some cons, of course. As you can see, there's some paint on my fingers. I've been painting and renovating my apartment that I'm going to be renting. To this house, I have a second property. You'll be surprised. Hey man, you're doing pretty good, and in this years in Canada you have a house and an apartment, and even Canadians are surprised, like, oh, you have 2 mortgages? Well, that's true. You have 2 mortgages, you have to pay more money. But I'm telling you, in Canada, lots of things changed around, and it's cool. I have an interracial, sound correctly, wedding. Basically, my wife is from India, so we are different cultures, different backgrounds, absolutely different parts of the world, and we'll have an interesting baby coming up soon. We are waiting. That's why we purchased the house, and I'm so excited. My in-laws from India are coming in 1 month to stay with us for some time. My parents are getting sponsored to come to Canada by next spring. They're going to be here. So it's just amazing. I'm making at least 30 times more than I was making back home. I'm not doing the occupation. I had to do some bad things, like I had to clean floors, I had to sweep, I had to work in the warehouse. At some point I've been even, like responsible for dumping the garbage and even washing the toilets in a company in Canada. That's how much of stuff I had to do that I would never have done back home. I would never have looked in this kind of jobs, and even right now I'm a little bit embarrassed of it, but whatever, I had to do what I had to do to make a living, to survive in Canada, and to be able to start my career, get Canadian work experience, to finally get to where I am and be able to live the lifestyle that I have right now, that I do enjoy. Certain things are different and lots of things are different, but if you're open and you can accept it, you can live with it and you'll be happy. So just have to be really open for the changes. And I'll tell you this, the people are different in Canada, but you can find your own people. Food is different in Canada, but you can find your own food. What I mean is, there are people from all over the world, there are shops from every culture, community, and you can find part of your culture, even being thousands and thousands of kilometers and in different time zones, in different climate, different everything, but you can still find everything from back home in Canada, which is kind of amazingly developed country with nice people, lots of opportunities. All I'm saying is that I don't feel different in Canada than I would back home. The only thing is that different is that it's way better. That's my opinion about Canada. Everything is about the same, but it's way better, more advanced. Life is better, money is better, opportunities are better, and people are better, nicer. Police is better. Politicians are more honest, even though they probably cannot be honest anywhere in the world. But all I'm saying is it's an interesting, nice country to live in. I have a amazing YouTube channel that been inspired by Canada, and it's also amazing to have all of you friends watching it. So now I want to find out your story. Leave a comment about your story in Canada or back home. Why do you want to move to Canada? Or if you're already here, what do you find different and how do you like it here? Leave your story. Friends, subscribe to this channel, smash the bell notifications to get notified each time I upload a video, because I'm working on a great content for you, really hard. Smash the like button and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.